Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to another video of Chem Solve. Today we are going to solve Cambridge IGCSE MCQs paper, that is paper 2. The code for this paper is 0620/22 May June 2025. We have already done part 1 of this paper. So in today's video we will solve part 2, that is from question number 21 till question 40. So let's start it. So question number 21. Let's read the question. The table shows some properties of the noble gases. So what is going to happen here? You can see density. Density is increasing as we move down. Density is increasing. While coming down, it is increasing. So this should have higher density. It should have the density in between 1.8 and 5.9. Mean the density should be more than 1.8 and it should be less than 5.9. So if we want it to be more than 1.8, it's mean A couldn't be our option. And if we want it less than 5.9, then D couldn't be our option because it has 8.5 and it has 1.4. Okay, understood? So the krypton should have the density in between the argon and xenon, mean in between 1.8 and 5.9, more than 1.8, less than 5.9. So the option should be either 2.4 or 3.8. Let's see. Now look at the boiling point trend. Boiling point is also increasing. Down the group, the boiling point is increasing. So we need a boiling point that is in between 186, minus 186 and minus 108. Okay, it should be in between minus 186. Now look at the option B. It has minus 195. So this couldn't be the option. We need something in between minus 186 and minus 108. That is exactly minus 153. So that's how the correct option is C. Next question, question number 22. Sodium is a group 1 metal. What is the physical property of the sodium? So just look at the physical properties of the group 1 metals. Non-conductor. Of course not. All the group 1 are good conductor. They have high melting point. No. All the group 1 elements have low melting point. High density. No. They have low density. So A, B and C are not our option. Of course, it is malleable because it's a property of a metal. So that's how the correct option should be option D. The next question is question number 23. Tennessine that has atomic number 117, it has the manufacture element that is below astatine in group 7 of the periodic table. So what is expected state of the tennessine at room temperature and pressure? Okay, so if we look at group 7, first one is fluorine, then chlorine, then comes bromine, iodine, astatine, and then this one, tennessine. So these two are the gases. This one is liquid and these are solid. So it should also be the solid. So I think the correct option is D, but look at the other options as well. A diatomic gas. Group 2 elements are, group 7 elements are diatomic, but it's not a gas. Liquid, no, because as iodine is a solid, so the elements which are down than the iodine, they should also be the solid. Monatomic gases, only the noble gases are monatomic. So according to our discussion, D is the correct option. Question number 24. When chlorine is bubbled into aqueous sodium bromide, a displacement reaction occurs. Which description of this reaction is correct? Okay, so let's look at the equation first. What happens? We have chlorine and then we have sodium bromide. Chlorine being more reactive than bromine, it will displace bromide, and it would be Br2 plus 2NaCl. So what happens? Chlorine displaces bromine. So the correct option for this is option B. Question number 24, the correct option is B. Now look at question number 25. Brass is an alloy of the copper and zinc, of course. The statement about brass or copper is correct. Brass doesn't conduct electricity because it's a compound. Alloys are the mixture. They are not compound. So this option is not correct. Copper conducts electricity because its atoms are free to move. Not at all. Its ions are free to move. I should write free electrons because copper is a metal. In metal, the conductivity is due to the free electrons. So B is also the incorrect option. Brass is harder than copper because its layer of the atom cannot easily slide over each other. Yes, this is the correct option. Copper is stronger than brass because it's a pure metal. No, metals are malleable and ductile. They are not as much as hard. So for question number 25, the correct option is C. Okay, question number 26. So some ionic equations are being shown, and we need to understand that what should be the order to place copper, magnesium, silver, tin, and zinc in the order of their reactivity. Okay, from higher to lower or lower to higher, we have to put them in the order of their reactivity. So let's see what can we deduce from the ionic equation. Copper is displacing silver. It means copper is more reactive than silver. Magnesium is displacing zinc, so magnesium is more reactive than zinc. Zinc is displacing copper, so zinc is more reactive than copper. Tin is displacing copper, so tin is more reactive than copper. Okay, so from this discussion, what we can deduce? Well, look at the trend. Tin is more reactive than copper, but zinc is also more reactive than copper. But magnesium is more reactive than zinc. It means magnesium is the most reactive one. I will write magnesium is my most reactive metal. Then comes zinc. How? Because magnesium is more reactive than zinc, it means zinc is after magnesium, and zinc is more reactive than copper as well. And copper is more reactive than silver. It means zinc should be here. Then from this discussion, this trend we have discussed, this trend we have discussed. Now we have to choose in between copper and silver. So clearly copper is more reactive than silver. Okay, but what about tin? We know that tin is more reactive than copper, but we don't know is it more reactive or less reactive than zinc. Mean the information that are missing here, they are, let me cut down this equation as well. The equation are missing. We don't know either zinc is more reactive or tin is more reactive than zinc. These are the missing information. So we don't know what to fill over here. If we fill it with tin, then this is already discussed that tin is more reactive than copper. Okay, this is discussed. But what about zinc is more reactive than tin? We don't have any information regarding that in the given ionic equation. So zinc react with tin. This equation should also be here so that we can reach to our conclusion. So A is supposed to be the correct option. Move towards question number 27. Zinc is used to galvanize iron to prevent it from rusting. Okay, so what happened? Actually, we have iron, and what do? We just put a layer of zinc all around it. And zinc is more reactive than iron. So keeping this information in our mind, look at the options. Galvanizing is an example of the barrier method. You can clearly see the diagram which I have drawn here. It is a barrier actually. So statement number 1 is correct. If zinc is scratched, the iron will rust very quickly. Not at all. Rusting is a very slow process. So statement 2 is incorrect. Galvanizing is an example of sacrificial protection. Exactly, it is. Sacrificial protection is the process in which one metal sacrifices itself. One metal decomposes as compared to the other metal. Okay, instead of the other metal, for example, in this scenario, zinc will oxidize. Zinc will give the electrons. Zinc will react with the air, with the water, and the iron will be protected. So we can say zinc is sacrificing itself in order to protect the iron. So yes, it is sacrificial protection. Zinc is more reactive. Yes, zinc is more reactive and accept electron readily. Not at all. It instead loses electrons. If a metal is more reactive, it will lose the electron. It will not accept the electron. So this statement is half incorrect and half correct. So we will regard it as a incorrect statement. So option is, the correct option is of course B. Why? Because statement 1 and 3 are correct and 2 and 4 are incorrect. Okay, so look at the question number 28. Which equation represents the reaction that occurs in the blast furnace during the extraction of the iron from the hematite? Okay, so let's recall what is happening inside the blast furnace. Basically, carbon react with oxygen and it forms carbon monoxide. Then this carbon monoxide, or we can say it forms carbon dioxide, then this carbon dioxide reacts with more carbon, it forms carbon monoxide, CaCO3 decomposes and it forms CaO and CO2. CO2 then again uses in this equation, and then hematite or iron ore react with reducing agent and it form iron and carbon dioxide. It again react in this equation, and lastly this reaction occur and a slag is being formed. So from our options, this is present here. So that's how D is the correct option. None of the other chemical equations belong to the extraction of iron in the blast furnace. Okay, so question number 29. Water is added separately in anhydrous copper 2 sulfate and anhydrous copper 2 chloride. Okay, so what happens? You know, it's a fact, anhydrous copper sulfate is white, and when water is added to it, it turns blue after water. And anhydrous cobalt chloride, it is blue, and when water is added to it, it turns pink. So the correct option must be option C. So coming towards question number 30, gases which causes acid rain in form in the car engine. Okay, so these gases can be removed using the catalytic converter. Which equation represent one of these gases using catalytic converter? Okay, so what happens during catalytic converter? Basically, there are two gases, carbon monoxide, it gets oxygen and it changes into carbon dioxide. Okay, and in another equation we have nitrogen monoxide, it oxidizes and it loses oxygen and it turns into N2 plus O2. So if we cancel out oxygen on both sides and we add this equation, the resulting equation would be 2CO plus 2NO gives us 2CO2 plus N2, which exactly matches with our option B. So I believe option B is the correct one. Moving towards question number 31, which statement about carbon dioxide are correct? So carbon dioxide absorbs thermal energy from the earth. Yes, this statement is correct. Carbon dioxide increases the thermal energy lost to the space. Actually, it absorbs the energy. It do not lose energy to the space. If it does, then it's a good thing, obviously, but it doesn't lose the energy to the space. That's why the global warming takes place. So statement 2 is incorrect. The level of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere has increased due to the burning of the fossil fuel. Exactly. So option 3 is correct. Carbon dioxide is the only gas that causes global warming. Of course not. There are many other gases like, for example, methane. They also play their role in the global warming. So this option is incorrect. So 1 and 3 are the correct statement. That's how B is the correct option. So the next question is question number 32. What is the structural formula of butane 2-ol? So let's make the formula. Butane. For butane, I will write 4 carbon, okay? And 2-ol mean a hydroxyl group is present with carbon number 2. So with carbon 2, I will place a hydroxyl group, and now I will complete all the hydrogen. So these are my hydrogens. Okay, so when I combine it to form the structure formula, it would be CH3. This whole thing is CH3, then CH2. So I will write CH2, then CH with CH and OH group is being attached. And lastly, I have CH3. So I will write CH3. So this exactly matches our option D. So D is the correct statement here. Moving towards question number 33. Methanol react with ethanoic acid to form an ester. We have one alcohol and we have one carboxylic acid. Okay, so let's react them together to get our ester. Methanol and ethanoic acid. So ethanoic acid is, let me write it here. For example, I could write it here. Ethanoic acid is, this is ethanoic acid. Okay, and I have to take methanol. So methanol is, okay, so what happens? A water molecule is being removed like this. So I will remove a water molecule from here. What is left behind? This is now match it with the correct option. This exactly matches with the option C. CH3, a CH3 is here. Then C double bond OO, C double bond OO, CH3, a CH3 is here. Okay. So the correct option is option C. Question number 34. This is of course a fact. There are certain fractions of the petroleum has been given to you and their uses. You can learn them well and you can understand that what is your correct option. So here the correct option is option C. This is a fact-based question. Okay, coming towards the next question, that is question number 35. Ethane react with chlorine in the presence of ultraviolet light. So this reaction is the substitution reaction of alkane. So let's do this. Ethane is C2H6. All right. And we will take chlorine like this. So what will happen? If I will write it in the structure form, so I think it would be easier for you to understand. So let me write it C2H6 like this. And then we have chlorine. So what happens? One chlorine is substituted with one hydrogen. So resultantly, what happens? this chlorine will move here. So I would have Cl along with HCl. In other words, I can write it CH3, CH2, Cl, or more precisely, I can write it C2H5, Cl. All right. So the correct option is option C. It exactly matches with our discussion. C2H5Cl and HCl. Okay. Next question is question number 36. So for question number 36, ethanol can be made by the fermentation of the aqueous glucose and catalytical addition of the steam to ethene. What are the advantages of making ethanol by catalytical addition of the steam to ethene rather than by fermentation of the glucose? So the first advantage is it's a fast reaction. Why? Because it uses a catalyst H3PO4 and 350 degrees Celsius temperature, so it must be fast reaction. While this, it's a biochemical reaction which uses very less temperature, so it must be a slow process. So fast reaction, yes. Fast reaction, yes. Okay, so its mean option should be A or B. Renewable raw material. Basically, we use water in the form of steam and ethene, and they are not raw. They are not renewable raw material. So A is supposed to be the incorrect option. C again uses the renewable, so it's not. Uses more energy and forms purer product. No, it uses catalyst. Uses more energy is not an advantage at all. So it is also wrong. I believe the correct option must be option B. Let's move towards question number 37. The structure of the polymer repeat unit is shown. So for the sake of easiness, I just divided these repeat unit into two parts, one red box and one green box. So I'm going to write my repeat unit individually. C, C, N, another N, H, so clearly there should be another H in order to make this group amine group. So this is basically a diamine. Okay, so the green box thing is C, C, C double bond O, C double bond O, and clearly it is a hydroxyl group. So I should add a hydroxyl group. This is carboxylic acid group. So I should add a hydroxyl group here. So these are the two monomers here. Let's match them with our option. Monomer 1 is, so this is correct, this is correct, this is incorrect because it has 4 carbon. We need 2 carbons. This is also incorrect because it has 4 carbon. We need only 2 carbons. So far A or B could be the correct option. So let's look at monomer 2. 1 is absolutely wrong because it has only 2 carbon and we need 4 carbons. So this is the correct because it has 4 carbon. So that's how the correct option is option B. The next question is question number 38. Which item of the apparatus is used to measure exactly 26.3 cm cube of the liquid? Okay, so this is again a fact. A burette is used to measure till 0.5 centimeter accuracy. So I will choose A. No need to look at the other option because that's a fact. A mixture, now come towards question number 39. A mixture containing aqueous salt and an insoluble salt is filtered. Okay. So what would be the X and what would be the Y? So at X, it must be the residue of our insoluble salt, while Y would be the filtrate containing aqueous salt. So the correct option should be D. Now the last question is question number 40. Pure ethanol has melting point of -114 degrees Celsius and a boiling point of 78 degrees Celsius. So what are the melting and the boiling point of the sample of the ethanol with glucose dissolved into it? When something is being dissolved, it means it becomes impure. So what happens? Impurity lowers melting point and increases boiling point. So the melting point would be lower than this value and boiling point should be higher than this value. So we need a boiling point more than 78. That's why A and C are not our options. We have to choose in between B or D, which have the boiling point higher than 78. Now look at the melting point. We need less than -114. So of course, D is not our option because it has a melting point -112 that is more than -114. So that's how the correct option is option B. Now this paper has been completed. Thank you so much for watching. Allah Hafiz.